Hi humans, it's Hannah. Welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about the Alice killings, and this is a Japanese urban legend. I'm going to go over the urban legend and then I'm going to explain what really happened. There's no proof that it actually happened, but it's been retold so many times that a lot of people think it did. And the truth is, though, that there is some basis of truth in this urban legend. The legend goes that from 1999 to 2005 in Japan, there was a series of murders that occurred. All of them were unexplainable. They couldn't figure out who murdered them. There was no evidence to explain it. All the murders were unrelated to each other. They could not find a specific MO for the murders, basically meaning that they if it was a serial killers, they usually kill in the same way. They kill in the same manner or a similar manner. And in this case, none of them were linked. They were all killed in different ways, in different horrible ways. But the one thing that made them think it is all the same person or thing was that a playing card was left near all the bodies. And on this playing card was the name Alice written in the victim's blood every time. So it was always a different victim's blood on the card next to them. The legend goes that the victims died in horrific ways. So let's talk about the first victim. The first victim was a 29-year-old restaurant owner, girl, who was on her way home from a party. A couple that was walking by found her remains the next day, the next morning. I mean, what was left of her? It is said that she was completely ripped apart, limb from limb. Every piece of her was ripped to shreds, and it was all over, and there was pieces of her even hanging from the trees. And they found the playing card with the name Alice on it.
So gross.
The second victim is the singer of a local band. So he goes missing. They check the security footage in his apartment building. They see this hooded figure go into the building in the footage, but they can't see his face, and he comes back out with a garbage bag. Then his body was found about a week later next to one of the clubs that he used to sing at. He had a bullet shot wound in his head, which is what killed him, and his vocal cords had been ripped out of his throat. Again, the bloody card was found near his body that said Alice on it. The next victim was a teenage girl who was abducted like a week before she graduated high school. So she's a young girl, and her body is found 2 days later in a shallow grave. She was very badly mutilated, like her eyes being pulled out, it's details like that. And also a crown that the perpetrator had sewn onto her head. The last two victims were children, and they were a set of identical twins. They were found dead in their bed, and interestingly enough, they hadn't met the same violent fate that the other victims had met, but they were injected with some fatal poison that was injected into them, and they were both found dead that way. The interesting part about their playing card was that it was actually cut in half. It was one card cut in half, and Alice was still written on each of them in blood, but it was the blood of each respective twin on their card. So the perp got a little more creative with that one. Soon after the twins died, their mother committed suicide, and their dad, never came back from all the trauma. So that's the urban legend. However, it might really just be inspired by this real true story that happened, that this urban legend kind of came out of this and people started writing creepypastas about it. You know how internet stuff starts. The truth is there really was a serial killer, but he was actually in Spain, not Japan, and he really did murder his victims, and then he would leave a playing card next to each body. Thankfully, this guy was actually identified, he was caught, and he's in jail serving a 142-year sentence, which he got served in 2003. So it was around the same time frame that that the urban legend goes as well. He had killed 6 different people, all random acts of violence. He just picked his victims at random, which makes it extra scary. It wasn't even people he knew. He would always shoot them with a gun at point blank range, and then he would leave one of the playing cards near their body. And it's actually not as interesting as it sounds. He left one next to his first body, and the media freaked out so much that he loved the attention, and then he started doing it as his signature for all the bodies. But they were random, but he all killed them the same way, so it was clearly the same person. But it wasn't as interesting, and people made it way more interesting than that with the Alice killing urban legends. But really, this pathetic excuse for a human just liked the attention of the playing cards and put them next to the bodies after that to mark them, or, you know, get more attention for the case. So that is the Alice killings explained. It is a urban legend. I think the interesting part about this urban legend is there's no like ghosts or paranormal. I mean, possibly, we don't know, because of the way that they were killed in such a crazy manner. It does suggest maybe there was something non-human at work, but for the most part, it could have been something. It's not like, doesn't have a paranormal element like a lot of urban legends, so I think that makes it extra scary. And that's just the legend. The truth was that it was just based on this other serial killer who did this, and it perpetuated from there. Hope you enjoyed this video. We all love our urban legends. Don't forget to hit that like button down below if you can, or comment and let me know what you think. And I'll see y'all in my next video. Okay, bye.